YouTube. My name is Stacy. I'm known here as flightyrambler, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel today. Today I am continuing with the Index Card a Day Challenge. This is a 61-day challenge hosted by Tammy Garcia. She has been running this challenge for the last 12 years, and this is the first year I'm participating. Tammy is known as Yellow Daisy Art, and I'll have a link to her website as well as her Instagram listed in the description box below. For me today, it is day 40, and I'm going to begin by gluing 3 index cards together because I want a sturdier substrate. I'll reach for my pencil and do some scribble journaling to dump my thoughts, and then I'll do a bit of mark making. Today I wanted to use up some of the scraps that have been lingering with me for quite some time. I'm inspired by Crafty Hope. Hope has been challenging herself to use up her scraps for her index cards. I'll have a link to Hope's channel listed in the description box below. Previously, when I would create art journal pages, I would use a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and then cut it down to fit the size of my art journal, which always left me with a little bit of extras. And that's what these are. These are the extras from previous art journal pages. In one of Hope's videos, she did a technique like this. She trimmed up and made strips out of some of her scraps, and I decided to give it a try myself. So I'm taking all these little pieces, cutting them down into strips, and I'll just keep doing this until I think I have enough to cover my card. Once I have the strips cut, I'll use some Yes Paste. Now, Yes Paste has been described as a glue stick in a jar, and since I wasn't a fan of using glue sticks, I thought this was a great alternative for myself since I can use a palette knife. So I'm going to smear out a layer of that Yes Paste on my card, and then I'll start adding the pieces side by side to create some great texture on the card. And I think it looks amazingly cohesive considering these are all cuts from different art projects throughout the years. So I think it looks great, and thanks to Hope for that great idea. After the whole card is dry, I'll go ahead and trim the excess away, and then I'm left with this amazing card. I'll use my gesso to create some shapes on my card. I'm going to turn them into flowers. Once the gesso is down and dried, I can see bleed through on some of the strips that I used. I don't quite know what the product was because it was a while ago, but it's obviously reacting with more medium on top. I'll use my micron pen to draw sketchy lines around all of these flowers, and of course I'll draw some stems and leaves. And then it's time for black and white splats, 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 splats. Once I've done the splats and added some marks on my page, I want to add a ground for my flowers. So I'm reaching for my Jane Davenport bright watercolor set, and I'm going to use that bright green as well as a blue to create a base for my flowers. And then I will reach for my Posca paint pen and go ahead and add some white to these flowers to try to mask the bleed through. And it's successful. It works well enough for me, and I'm happy with that. I want to add a border around my card, so I will use my archival ink pad in black and go ahead and ink around the edges. And then I decide to scuff it along the top of my card to bring up the texture from all of those paper strips. And I like it, except it destroyed the work I had done on the flowers. So it's going to be a simple matter of me pouring out more white acrylic paint instead of gesso and painting the flowers in, and then going ahead and redoing the scribbly lines with my micron. And then it's time for black and white splats, 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 splats. And then I decide I want to add some bling bling, so I will use my Uniball Signo Broad in silver to do some sketchy lines around the same botanicals. I'll use my Dymo to create a sentiment, and for today the word is going to be introvert. I am introverted and find I need to recharge after spending time with people in general. And I'd be curious to know how many of my viewers are introverts and how many are extroverts. I wouldn't mind if you left a comment in the section below. For the cluster with my sentiment, I'm going to choose a bit of lace as well as some threads. And I'm going through my cute little dish here of extra threads, and I'll choose a few colors. And of course, I'll have to go into my stash to get a couple more colors before I begin layering it all up with Aleene's tacky glue. The sentiment is a bit too tall for the height of the lace I've chosen, so I'll go ahead and trim off the extras on the top and bottom of the sentiment as well as the two sides. This glue is just about done, but I'm determined to use every bit of it that I can before I open the new bottle. There were those extra strips that I had trimmed away from my sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and glue those down in a little cluster on the top right-hand corner. And this was a bit of a process today to get to the final project, but I really enjoy the colors. I'm glad I used up some of my scraps. My thanks again to Hope for that great idea. And I really like the colors, even though there was some bleed through happening on a couple of those strips. I felt it just meant a bit more troubleshooting. And I'd like to remind everyone that I do have my Etsy shop open. It's open for business. It has plenty of fun and funky napkins of different sizes, and there's flowers, butterflies, textures. I hope you go ahead and click the link that I have in the description box below to check it out. And that's it for my video today. I'd like to thank you for watching. I encourage you, please hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see what I'm doing tomorrow. And until my next video, bye-bye.